Once upon a time, there lived three brothers, Ikenna, Ugonna, and Obinna. Their father, Chief Okafor, once the strongest warrior in the community, and now the leader of the community. He was known for his great strength during battles throughout the community and beyond. When his first son, Ikenna, was born into the family, he was the pride of both his father and mother. And as he grew into a young man, he showed great physical strength. Ikenna would lift a huge bundle of firewood onto his shoulder without seeking assistance from anyone, and would always be called upon whenever there was a difficult task needing physical strength in the village. Ugonna, on the other hand, was born with such great beauty. At the moment of his birth, his father and mother thought he was a girl because of how beautiful he looked. His mother would always take him along to the market and get free gifts from the sellers due to Ugonna's presence. And as he grew up, Ugonna became even more handsome, getting him the attention of both young and old. Ikenna and Ugonna were greatly admired. Everyone in the community wanted to associate with them due to their physical appearances. They were often referred to as the pride of the village. Their father beamed with joy, seeing his first two sons excel in wrestling competitions. He was even more excited knowing that they would soon become warriors just like him when he was much younger. On the other hand, Obinna, the youngest, was different. He was not blessed with any physical strength or beauty like his brothers. Instead, he had a mind that shined brightly like the stars. Obinna was blessed with wisdom. He was quick to listen and slow to speak. He did not derive pleasure from the adventures of his brothers, who went about the village, wooing ladies and drinking in their favorite bars due to their popularity. Obinna would rather spend time in the forest, learning about animals, plants, and climbing the tallest of trees. He liked to observe his surroundings and the people from high up. When he was not in the forest, he would sit under the mango tree at the village square, listening to the teachings of the elders. He would often ask deep questions and sometimes even recite wise sayings he learned from them. Over time, Obinna's eyes held secrets and his words carried weight. He became a hidden gem. However, his father, Chief Okafor, would always ask him why he was so weak and without any physical attributes like his brothers. One day, he even questioned the paternity of his weaker son, Obinna. Obinna was frustrated. He always felt hot and less loved in comparison to his strong and handsome brothers. He would always wonder why he wasn't like his brothers and why their adventures did not interest him. At this time, his mother, who saw the true worth in each of her sons, would constantly remind Obinna that true greatness lay in the depth of his mind, not in the breadth of his muscles or his appearance. And as the boys came of adult age, Chief Okafor began to worry. He wanted a successor, someone who could lead the village wisely and protect its people. He had to make a difficult choice by selecting the best fit amongst his sons. Chief Okafor was so confused and didn't know which of his two sons to crown as his successor. Both Ikenna and Ugonna were heroes in the village. The villagers loved and favored them, but the pressure to select a successor was getting to him. And so, he decided to seek the counsel of the village chiefs in the neighboring communities. He presented his troubles to them and asked them for the best way to select a successor from two of his sons. The village chiefs collectively told him to stage a contest, one that would test their strength, courage, and wisdom. They told him that any of his sons who excelled in all contests should be named his successor. However, one of the chiefs, Mazi Ikonne, who noticed that Chief Okafor only referred to Ikenna and Ugonna as his sons, asked him why he was not even considering his third son, Obinna. Chief Okafor replied saying, "Obinna is weak and does not have any stamina, unlike my two other sons. Hence, he is not going to be part of the selection." Mazi Ikonne and the other chiefs kicked heavily against his decision and advised that he considered all of his sons to be part of the selections to avoid breeding enmity and hatred amongst the three brothers. After much persuasion, Chief Okafor agreed to their submissions. The date for the contest was fixed, and the news spread like wildfire. Villagers gathered in the village square. Their eyes were fixed on the brothers. Ikenna and Ugonna flexed their muzzles, ready to prove their worth, and they received a lot of cheers from the onlookers. One of the village gamblers, Unduka, even made the villagers bet on who would become the next successor. And of course, Ikenna and Ugonna were chosen by the villagers, leaving out Obinna. Obinna was calm, reserved, and observed quietly as the competition was about to begin. The first challenge was to test the strength of the brothers. They were made to face a wild animal and subdue it. As expected, everyone singled Obinna out of this challenge because he was not as heavily built as his brothers. Ikenna and Ugonna were ready and stood at opposite ends with the wild animal in their middle. They took turns to wrestle the animal, but they were not successful. The animal was smarter and faster and instead gave them several injuries. The villagers, seeing this, were surprised. Up until that moment, they never believed that the two brothers would find the task as difficult as they did. Obinna, on the other hand, who had been standing away from the scene, observed the movement of both his brothers and the animal. He figured out that their combined strength was useless in this situation, and the animal could only be defeated with wisdom. Obinna went ahead to climb the mango tree at the center of the village, and with his catapult, he picked two small-sized stones, enough to fit the eyeballs of the animal, and fired the two stones almost immediately from the tree where he was positioned. The animal let out a huge cry and went on an angry rampage. Obinna, seeing this, saw it as an opportunity to strike again. He took a bigger stone this time and fired 4 of them, one after the other, to hit the legs of the animal. Without going close to the animal, Obinna was able to bring it down to its knees, and the entire village erupted with joy. They were surprised that Obinna could defeat such violent animal without sustaining any injury or coming close to it. The second challenge was a true test of leadership. Chief Okafor presented a complex problem. A drought had withered the crops of the farmers in the village, and the villagers were hungry. If you were the village head, what would you do differently to ensure your people were comfortable and had food to feed their families? He asked his sons. Ikenna and Ugonna replied saying that if they were the head of the village, they would rather borrow from the neighboring communities, pending when the rain falls. And they would ask and seek out the services of the village rainmakers who can cause the rain to fall and end the droughts. The villagers seemed pleased with the answers given by the two brothers. However, Chief Okafor and the other village chiefs did not look so pleased with their reply. Obinna, after listening to his brothers, gave an entirely different approach. He stated that if he were the village head, he would first encourage the farmers to plant crops that can do well in the presence or absence of rain. He said that as the village head, during the time of plenty and bountiful harvest, he would create a food reserve where the richest families would be mandated to contribute tubers of yam and cocoyams to help poorer families during difficult times. He also stated that he would ensure that the wells in the community were dug way deeper into the ground to get access to more underground water. And finally, as the village head, he would also encourage his people to try out other means of livelihood apart from farming, like carpentry and weaving. He believed this would solve the problem of drought in the long term. He also said that he would reach out to the wealthy and influential people in the community to exchange food for labor services of their workers instead of money, and encourage trade by barter amongst the villagers to have varieties of food to eat from. The villagers, watching in disbelief, listened attentively to his wise words as Obinna's wisdom unfolded, and at the end, cheers upon cheers erupted. The villagers, Chief Okafor, and the other chiefs were very pleased with his response, as they all nodded in agreement with Obinna's solutions. Even his brothers, Ikenna and Ugonna, both agreed that he gave the best solutions and tackled each contest with great wisdom befitting for a true leader. Their father, Chief Okafor, finally realizing his mistake, became regretful of how he treated his son, Obinna. He asked for his forgiveness in the presence of the entire community and gave him a warm embrace. Alas, the next village head had been selected and everyone could not agree less. He placed the crown on Obinna's head and the villagers erupted in cheers. And to celebrate the new village head, the people ate, drank, and danced all through the night. Obinna became Chief Obinna, ruling with compassion and intelligence. He planted seeds of knowledge, and the village flourished. Ikenna and Ugonna, his brothers, both served as his advisors, their strengths complementing his wisdom. The moral lesson to gain from this story is that physical strength may provide temporary advantage, but wisdom offers guidance in making sound decisions that stand the test of time, endures, and shapes the future long after one's prime. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel, like, share, and comment. See you next time.